have won all 5 of their games up to now. Norway, hot on their heels, have won 4 out of 5. And I think we can see right from the beginning, we can see why that is. This is some very nice play from both teams. And a lovely pattern of yellow-blue stones there. You can see that's volunteer Jill managing the stones at the end there. Big thank you to all of our little yellow volunteers. You'll see them sprinkled around the ice rink. They are managing the stones and just helping the game along. So they'll clean the stones at the playing end and give the stone to the player. And at the other end, make sure that any stones out of play, they're nice and tidy behind the sheet. So a big thank you. I think there have been more than, I think it's about 160 volunteer shifts in total this weekend. Many members and friends of the club giving their time this weekend, so a big thank you to all of them. Deputy Chief Volunteer Semi in the background. He's been instructing all the volunteers what to do. Both of these teams will be at Paralympic in Italy in March. This competition, not counting towards Paralympic, the teams are already decided who has won a place there, but we have 8 out of the 10 competing teams in this competition, and it will be important for confidence and just future competitions. If you can beat your opposition in this competition, that will give you nice confidence to take forward on the Paralympic path. We have 8 out of 10 Paralympic teams here. We have Italy, Canada, Korea, Norway, Sweden, Great Britain, Slovakia, USA, and the other two teams who are not here, that's the defending champions China and Latvia, who qualify as well. But 8 out of 10 teams here, just testing their form against their opposition for Paralympic. And we've had some really super games. 3 of the games we've been watching this weekend have gone to extra end. That just shows you how close it is out there. As we said, there's not a big difference between winning and losing anymore. The quality gets higher and higher every year. And we've had a weekend full of really close games. And a big thank you to all of our teams. 20 teams this year, the most ever. 20 teams really entertaining us all weekend. Now it is Norway with last stone in this first end. We are at skip stones. And it is USA who are putting a bit of pressure on here. Objectives in this first end, same as usual. The US want to prevent Norway using last stone advantage to score a big end. And Norway, in contrast, they would like to use last stone advantage to score 2 or more. And it's advantage US at the moment. There are more yellows in dangerous positions. And that was a fine effort. If he'd made the double takeout, there would have been blues everywhere. Nice aggressive stuff from both teams. That little yellow then just hanging on to the forefoot, that's the blue circle. Getting a little bit lonely though. The US will want to protect that shot. That's the view from the throwing end. The yellow in quite a good place, it's behind the guard. It's also slightly covered by that blue stone in front. Our objective for the US is to prevent Norway scoring big, and there are a few little blues just starting to build up. So we want to protect that yellow. The US doesn't need to score here. As we said, they're just trying to put pressure on Norway, try to frustrate Norway's attempts to score more than one. And this is a lovely shot from US. That's a real peachy shot. Just that really nice controlled weight. He doesn't need to remove the blue from play, but he punches the blue behind tee line into the 12-foot circle, the red one. And what a better situation than that lonely little yellow. Now it's two yellows lying at a nice angle behind cover. So first throw of the final for the Norwegian skip. The stone coming in at pace, it really wants to get a hit and roll. It gets the hit part, doesn't quite find the roll, but he has stuck that blue, and the US skip pointing to the blue indicating that is now shot. That's closest to centre. The US will be interested in doing pretty much the same thing, just replace that blue with a yellow. And they've just played this shot. Ooh, is it round the guard though? It's not going to. And that is a very frustrating finale for the US. They played a lovely game, a lovely end with 7 stones, but just a little bit tight on that 8th stone. And suddenly handing Norway a chance to score 2 here. That's a pity for the US. They had a real bright start there. But that's what we said. It's just a loose shot here and there. Just 1 or 2 loose stones can really change an end, and that's exactly what's happened in this first end. The Norwegian vice likes the look of this one. Oh my goodness. What a costly error for the US. All of a sudden, I think it's at least 3 blue. I think it's 4. Yeah, big high five for Norway. What a turnaround in that end. The US need to just stick to their task here. If you're going to lose a 4, do it in the first end, obviously. You've still got plenty of time to work back. That really was just one loose shot from the US there. But as we said, high risk is high reward. If your defense is better attack, so the aggressive idea, that can really work for you. But if it goes wrong, if you have a bit of a miss, as we saw from the US, it can really go against you. And that was 4, so goodness me. A dream start for Norway. And the US just need to stay calm. We've got plenty of time left. They just want to stay calm, build some shots. They've got plenty of ends left to get this score back again. But dream start for Norway. Making the most of that one chance in the first end. And that's fine. From the Norwegian lead, she's having a great competition. She hardly made a mistake all afternoon yesterday. She was setting up her team beautifully, and she continues to do so. Norway can now be very reactive. They absolutely don't need to take any risks. They have a nice big cushion after that first end. It is the US who will have to find the aggressive stones now. And we see that with immediately throwing up a guard. That is a lovely throw from the US lead. That's the overhead view. That yellow stone, it is protected by the free guard zone. All that area in front of the rings is free guard zone. Any stone in that area cannot be removed from play until a total of 5 stones have been played. You can move them around, but they must not go out of play. And the US very sensibly making maximum use of free guard zone as they try to bounce back from a bit of an unlucky start in the first end. But more lovely play from the Norwegian lead. I need to keep focused, US. One shot at a time. That's a great view of the delivery stick. You can see it's I think it's about 2 meters long. You can adjust the length of the stick according to your own preference, and then it has that little hinged handle at the end that goes over the handle of the stone. And then as you release, you turn your wrist by turning the stick clockwise or anti-clockwise. That is a very excellent try from the US. They just wanted to roll a little bit further behind that guard, but that is a positive start. You see also typically one of your teammates just holds your heels as well, so you get yourself in position. Volunteer brings you the stone, you get yourself in position, put your brakes on, and then typically one of your teammates just holds the back of your chair as well, so you don't slip backwards when you're pushing the stone. Yeah, Norway's objective very easy in the second end. Oh, but she's a bit tight on that one, and I think we may see this stone replaced. No, we won't. Indeed, that little yellow in the free guard zone moving towards the sideline, but not going out of play, so it stays where it is. If that stone had gone off the sideline, it would be replaced. And the US needs to make the most of that mistake from Norway. Norway's strategy, very simple in the second end. They are +4. And by far the easiest way of preventing the US from scoring and bridging that gap is to just remove US stones. But they made a mistake there, and the US needs to capitalise on that now. That's a lovely throw. This is a nice steady response from the US. Yeah, they need to not panic. They're a little bit unlucky to get 4 against in that first end. We've seen it several times. There were plenty of yellows lying around as well, but it was just a couple of centimetres here and there. But they need to not panic, the US. They're doing the right thing here. Nice steady play. Norway, meanwhile, they just want to keep removing US stones from play. No yellows means no points. That's more like it. Nice clean hit from the Norwegian second. We're in end 2 out of 8. And this stone needs to stop. Oh. Can't afford mistakes like that, US. We need to take all the chances that Norway give us. They won't get many chances. Both these teams have been winning all weekend. Both teams battled their way to the final here. We will play 8 ends, and if scores are tied, we will play an extra end. We had 3 extra ends on our streamed games already this weekend because it is really close. It's tough to win a game out there. US team sticking to their task. They want to throw up a guard here. Give them something to hide behind. There's a nice close-up of the setup. So breaks on for the thrower, and then your teammate just holding on to the back of your chair. Make sure you don't slip. You can see several of the players have a little holder for their delivery stick, and some of them have a little handle, a little grip for when they are throwing to keep their balance. But you don't need any adjustment to your day-to-day chair if you are a wheelchair user or your friend or colleague. And if you want to try curling, you definitely can. You don't need any adjustment to your normal chair. You just clean the wheels before you come in, just like the foot players stand on the sticky sheet to make sure there's no little specks of dirt on the ice. But you just need your normal chair. The curling club has delivery sticks. These players mostly have their own, but the club has delivery sticks that you can use. And the club, of course, has plenty of brushes that you can use if you're skipping as well. So you really don't need any special equipment, and you don't even need a specialised wheelchair curling club. There are dedicated clubs and tournaments. Oh, that stone is jammed at the back. We'll come back to that. But you don't need a specialised wheelchair curling club. There's a couple of players here, and at their regular curling club they are the only person who's wheelchair user, and at club level it's absolutely not a problem. You can play a wheelchair team in with AB, able-bodied players, or you can, if you're the only person who's wheelchair user, you can be part of a foot player team as well. Curling very inclusive in that way, so even if it's just you who wants to try curling, you definitely can, and you can go along and play at your regular curling club. Now let's get back to our featured game here. The US had a second little half shot from Norway there. The previous throw from Norway jammed that yellow straight back, so it is still yellow who is lying. And a second dangerous yellow now out front. That's the situation from the throwing end. You can see that yellow just in front of the US skip there. That one's actually closest to centre, but it's in a vulnerable position there. All three stones at the front. If you push any of those stones at the front, you can push them closer to the centre. Whereas the yellow behind the tee line, if you push that, is going to get further away. That's why that front of house area, that's the important area that you want to control. Just like that. That blue is going to stop in time. And we can see that that blue out front, any stones in front of house are always dangerous. You can just push them in and push them a bit closer to centre. Definitely chances for the US here. Oh, but that stone's going to slip on a bit. The line was lovely. But just with that little bit extra weight, the faster stone's going, the less it will curl. And that stone going a little too fast, so not curling enough. Same idea for Norway. And they've done that beautifully. Just using those stones in front of house. Just push them a little bit.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, goodness. It is Norway line 2. Pressure on this final throw of the US. Norway really off to a dream start here. This stone just needs to find the curl. Just aiming to sit on top of that one at the back. And what a clutch shot from the US. Really held his nerve there, the US fourth thrower. What a difference that would make. It's a point to the US. So in our final here at the 17th International Wheelchair Curling Tournament, huge point for the US. Really steadying the ship. It is Norway 4, USA 1. You can see the US team just really focusing, concentrating, keeping calm. My goodness me, they needed that in that second end. What a difference. If that stone had gone wrong, that could have been Norway 6, USA 0. That would be not exactly a game over, but very, very difficult to get back from that, but held his nerve, and a huge important point of 1 to the US. That's the view from the club room upstairs. We have coaches, fans, club members, supporters. Busy clubhouse today. If you want to come join the fun, you are most welcome. Free to come and join us here in the club room upstairs. Come have coffee or a cake, have some lunch, and enjoy this super weekend of curling. Now let's see how we're getting on across the sheets. On sheet 1, we have double champions, Slovakia's first team, and they have jumped out to a great start against Sweden. The Paralympic silver medalists, it is 3-0 to Slovakia's first team over Sweden. On sheet 2, we have the all-Italian affair, and it is the team from Club Albatross Trento. They are 4-0 ahead of Team Italy after 2 ends. On sheet 3, we have Slovakia's second team, both Slovakian teams qualifying for these ranking games, and they are playing Great Britain's first team, and it's the team from Great Britain getting a big 3 in the second end after a blank, so it's 3-0 to Great Britain first team over Slovakia second team. On sheet 5, we have Paralympic bronze medalist Canada. They are up against Switzerland's first team. It is Canada 2-0 after 2 ends. And finally on sheet 6, it is the Korean team back again this year, making a big journey. They are up against Great Britain's second team. Very tight affair. It is 1-0 to Korea after 2 ends on sheet 6. that stone just slipping past for Norway. And again, the US, they need to make the most of every mistake from Norway. Really important point on that second end there. To steady the ship. US being asked now for the guard to protect that shot stone. This looks nice. Just want to catch a little curl at the end. I think she's done that pretty nicely. Maybe it doesn't cover all the stone, but all guards are helpful to the US. That's all stones they can hide behind. That was one of those stones, that guard from the US. That was one of those stones we foot players would love to jump down and sweep. But in wheelchair game, there is no sweeping. That's the most obvious difference between wheelchair game and AB, able-bodied game. So the guard doing its job there. Norway springing guard onto shot, and it is still USA lying one in the house. So similar idea. There are really three things that make the degree of difficulty of shots in wheelchair curling more difficult than the same shot in foot curling, AB curling. And the most obvious one is that you don't have sweepers. Once you've released that stone, that's it. The stone has to be good all by itself. You don't have any sweepers to try to pull it a bit further or try to get it to curl a bit more. Oh, and she just feathered that guard there. And that's going to, again, find a decent spot. It's not fully covering the yellow, but the US, they need guards out front. There are another couple of things that make the degree of difficulty for wheelchair play just higher for the same shot compared with foot player. The most obvious one that we see is that you don't have sweepers. The other difference is most of the power for your shot in foot player comes from your leg drive. And in wheelchair game, all of your power comes from upper body only. And if you imagine, if you're playing hit after hit, a lot of heavy stones only with upper body strength, that gets pretty tiring, and you don't have any sweepers, so that's another thing that just increases the degree of difficulty for wheelchair shots. And the third thing we can have a little look at now. Skip from the US, throwing third stones, and you can see it's one smooth movement to release that stone. So there's no adjustment really possible when you're using leg drive to deliver the stone. You typically have about 2 or 3 seconds between driving out of the hack and releasing the stone. So if you've maybe kicked out a bit too strongly or not strongly enough, you do have a little second or two to try to make an adjustment, and that's not the case in wheelchair game. You have one throwing movement and that's it. So yeah, really 3 things that make the degree of difficulty for a shot in wheelchair curling higher than the same shot in foot curling. This is good progress from the US. I don't want to tempt fate. But just working hard, the US. Putting up guards, the guards doing their job. Norway not quite able to find a way to remove guard and shot stone at the moment. Same idea for the US. They've played this path several times now. They just want to try to land something in front of that short stone. That's curled a little bit more this time. That weight, though, is really serving the US well. Have they got to it this time? They have. So Norway removing the short stone, but importantly, there is still a guard out front. That nice little yellow right on the centre line. As long as there's something out front, that's something the US can hide behind. We need a couple of nice precise throws here from the US fourth thrower. So making one of those blues go away. The other option was to use that guard out front. But at this early stage, understandable that the US would say, you know what, let's just try to remove Norwegian counters. As we said, we still have lots of ends left at this early stage. And the US, they just don't really want Norway getting too far ahead of them. As we saw, the risk with being aggressive, it's high risk, high reward. If the US had tried to go behind that yellow, that would be the aggressive call, but if that went wrong, they could find themselves looking at a hatful of Norway counters. Norway's shots quite easy at the moment because they're +3. Oh, and this one's coming in beautifully. What a shot this is. Oh, wow. That is really putting the pressure on the US. It is Norway who have last stone, remember, in this third end. Still 2 stones to come. Last throw coming up for the US and one more throw for Norway. Pretty much every shot for the US at this point. Really important for the game situation. Oh, so unlucky. Oh, you can see what was the plan there. He was trying to come through that gap and just nudge up against that blue. Oh gosh, poor US, just nothing going right for them at the moment. But Norway surely can't believe how well this first half of the game is going for them. Lying 2 Norwegian counters and a chance to get a third in the house now. They just played a nice T-weight. This one looks pretty similar. And the scoreboard confirming that is a score of 3 points to Norway. Goodness me, what a start from Norway. Just a couple of pieces of bad luck, a couple of loose shots from the US. And that's a pity for them. They've just been so strong all weekend, the US, and yeah, they really need to summon all of that concentration now. Norway, they just need to keep doing what they're doing. Oh, that's us. Hello. That's us up here in the commentary box. I can see all the sheets from our little perch up here. We're sitting over sheet 3 and keeping eyes on the other games as well. So a rather unexpected score really in our final game here. I do think the US would be entitled to feel a little hard done by here. I don't think they're playing so horribly that they deserve to be -6 at this point. I do think they have had a little bit of bad luck against them as well. Just a couple centimetres here and there making the difference between US stones counting or Norwegian stones counting. But hats off to Norway. Yeah, they're goodness me, this lady has hardly put a stone wrong all weekend, and she has just played another beauty. A nice tight centre guard for Norway. But that is a guard that the US can use, so you're going to need all that focus, US. Need to really encourage each other. Don't get frustrated. One stone at a time. Oh, poor US. That stone really summarising their experience at the moment. Not finding its way into play. It's often the way if you really get off to a very bright start like Norway have. You just can't stop playing beautifully. That, of course, is a lot to do with your stones being, or your degree of difficulty of your shots being fairly straightforward, fairly simple shots when you're already ahead. And when you're up against it, as the US are here, the degree of difficulty of their shots necessarily higher. And, oh, it can get frustrating. So yeah, they need to focus, 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 stone by stone, one at a time. That's better. Good adjustment. That is now a nice corner guard.
You can't tell me it didn't even come down.
This is stone number 5. And actually Norway deciding that we don't need any guards, so electing to just remove their own guard. That's a perfectly sensible choice. You can remove your own stones from play, from free guard zone, just not your opposition. US then just wanted to use that nice corner guard. A second guard is also fine. And she's done that beautifully. Lovely throw. One at a time. That's a lovely throw to follow a lovely guard. The US front end trying to stay positive. Good for them. Trying to do their bit to set up their team to score here. Nice tidy throw from Norway, removing that guard. The guard is the most dangerous shot. You can hide more than one stone behind one little guard. And that's why that was definitely the correct shot, to make sure they remove that guard. And the US can either replace it, and I think that's what they have been asked to do, or they could do what you call splitting the house. You could put a second stone all the way on the other side of the sheet, but then you kind of committed to scoring a maximum of 2 points, really. And our line's beautiful there. It's a little bit closer to the stone in the house, but that is a fine guard. Same drill for Norway. They've just played more or less this shot. Getting prepared at the throwing end there. Same idea, let's make sure the guard goes away. That's plan A. If you can make the double takeout as a bonus, we'll take it. No double takeout, but make sure the guard disappears. And we may see one more guard coming from the US. The choice is the same. They can replace that guard, or they could put a stone all the way on the other side, on the right hand side of the sheet as we see it, and try to make a double takeout as difficult as possible for Norway. But I think this is the right choice. Put one more guard. Hope for a mistake from Norway, trying to remove the guard. And maybe sneak another stone in behind. Just like that. Same again for Norway. Make US stones go away. Ooh. Oh, he has got the double by millimeters. But the silver lining for the US is that they do leave a guard out front. Doesn't really matter, the US, if it's a blue guard or a yellow guard. Important is that there is a guard. And as you can see, no hesitation from the US, immediately indicating, okay, we're going to sneak round the back of the guard, no matter which colour it is. That little stone just putting its brakes on in time. A couple of options for Norway now. They could also just remove the guard. It is a Norwegian guard, but it's only helping the US. They could still just remove the guard. Or there is space to follow that stone just thrown by the US. If you just land right in front of the Norwegian stone, you will cancel it out. And definitely there's space to do that, and both teams know this path pretty well. I think that might be what we'll see. Nope. Indeed, just removing the guard once more. Oh, interesting. Not completely removing a guard. Leaving a guard on the other side of the sheet now. Two nice steady throws here from the US, and they have a great chance to put points on the board here. Again, just using that guard out front. It is a slight disadvantage that it's a Norwegian stone rather than US stone, but guard is a guard. Oh, yes! I think that yellow has just grabbed on by its fingernails. If any part of the stone is touching any part of the rings, that counts. And really critical that that yellow did touch the rings there. Big difference between scoring 2 points and scoring 1 point in this end. And Norway doing the sensible thing here. They do have quite a big cushion. Losing 2 points, not the end of the world at this stage if you're Norway. So just saying, okay, let's make sure it's a maximum 2 points we lose, no more than that. So they're just trying to remove the easier of the 2 stones, which they do. But that little yellow, from our angle, it definitely looks like it's in the rings, and I think the US skip just said draw for 2. He thinks it's in the rings as well. Same again then. Great chance for the US to put 2 important points on the board here. For the sake of good curling then, let's all wish this little stone to land for a second point here. It looks pretty good. I think he's got that beautifully. Super throw from the US. And slowly, slowly, they are making progress on the scoreboard. That was really well done in that 4th end. Just making the most of a couple of half shots from Norway, setting themselves up with an excellent chance for 2 and really finishing it off. So good conclusion to the first half for the US. That will be 2 points to them, and that means our overall score, it's Norway 7, USA 3. We have 6 minutes at half time. No, 4 minutes, sorry. And the coach can come down and offer words of encouragement and advice. We saw the US just crossing hands and having a deep breath together, keeping that focus. Important score in that 4th end, meaning the overall score 7-3. They can still definitely keep themselves in this game, the US. It looks like most of the games are in or near the halfway point. I will start on sheet 4. That is the game between Slovakia second team and Great Britain's first team, and it's the team from Great Britain. They are 6-1 ahead at the halfway. They are the only ones, apart from us, who have the score up. Oh no, on sheet 1, they're also at the halfway. That is last year and last year's champions, Slovakia first team. They are playing Sweden, and also a very high scoring game, and it is Sweden who lead 6 points to 4 at the halfway on sheet 1. On sheet 5, it is Team Canada, the bronze medalist at Paralympic last time. They are 4-2 ahead of Switzerland first team. On sheet 6, it is Korea. They are 4-2 ahead over Great Britain's second team. And we will update sheet 2 once they put the score up. But all the teams just having a break at half time. Take on some liquids, make sure they stay hydrated. Some gummy bears, a little dried fruit. Not quite the final we were expecting after that big start for Norway. And it will be Norway who are feeling, I'm sure, the more confident going into the second half. They are still 4 points ahead, and their strategy will be pretty similar. They just want to prevent the US from grabbing points back. I'm sure we will see more hits from Norway, just removing US stones from play. removing guards. Guards only help the US, but good work from the US in that fourth end. They need to keep channeling that concentration and focus. Also upstairs here in the club room, we have our timing volunteers who are working the game clocks this weekend. That's a really important job. It needs such a lot of concentration. So big thank you to all of our volunteers who've done a shift with the game clocks, and to Jenny, who is our Chief Timing Officer. And big thank you also to all of our sponsors. That is a big part of why this is such a popular competition. The ice has been really super from our new Ice Master Fraser. Chief Harry went all the way to Scotland to find someone who knew all about ice, and I think the ice has been super. And upstairs in the club room, we have been very well looked after as always. It was we have a technical timeout on our sheet, maybe something to do with the clocks. Can be something to do with the equipment as well. The crossing arms, that's not a coach interaction, that's not a timeout. That means there's a technical issue. Oh yeah, it could be someone's brakes not working properly, or yeah, some issue with someone's chair, or a little patch on the ice. It does look like there's maybe a little drip on the ice. I'm sure they will go and inspect and get the ice master if needed. We had a really nice dinner together yesterday evening with all the teams up here in the club room. And that was very successful, really nice atmosphere, nice food. And then all the players, most of the players living in or staying in the hotel across the street, the Swiss Star Hotel. Very convenient. I was working it out. I think you can get from here in the ice hall over to the hotel without any steps, I think, without needing to use any steps or a lift. And that, of course, very nice for the players to come and go independently.
Are we allowed to bring non-ice alcohol?
And indeed, here comes Fraser the Ice Master just to have a little look. See what's needed.
You bring in food or you actually.
And meanwhile, we do have an updated score on rink 2 at their halfway point. It is the team from Club Albatross Trento. They are 5-0 ahead over Team Italy.
Everybody's gonna be like, haha, here we go.
Not sure what the decision was, but Fraser scampering off at speed, which would tend to suggest he's going to bring back some sort of scraper to make sure there's no kind of bump on the ice.
Seems like you're trying to dodge.
Yes, here he comes. We have a 5-minute pause just to take care of a little drip on the ice. The ice has been super though all weekend. These things can happen. You get a drip or a little hole somewhere, but really the ice has been super. Fraser only here for a month or two, leading up to this competition. Brand new ice hall for him. So he's really done a super job here, putting out championship ice for these teams. That's the kind of ice that you'll have at Paralympic. So you just need to get used to it.
Passion, Liebe zum Detail, Innovation, Team Spirit, große Emotionen und bleibende Momente. Mediarent, powering events since 1933.
It is Mediarent who are our live stream partners, as always. I think this is the third time they've been here. And we have several other sponsors as well. Ruby Photography there in the centre of your screen. Nicole is the expert behind Ruby Photography, and she has been taking some action shots all weekend. And you can find her Instagram channel. If you search Ruby Photography, you will find her Instagram channel. You will also see a selection of her photos on the event website. That's IWCT.ch. And she's been here all weekend, Nicole. We're very thankful to have her. She always takes some really charming photos, really capturing the energy and the atmosphere of the games out there. Find her photos on the website IWCT.ch. We also have an Instagram channel. If you look up IWCT on Instagram, you will find it there. And yeah, we're getting more and more famous. We've been featured on Swiss Curling's Instagram. We've been featured in a big double pager in the Vetsicon Post, the newspaper here. There was a little article on SRF, that's Swiss television, mentioning that we have the international competition here. We are a big deal. "20 teams this year, up from 16. All the teams very interested in just checking out their form, checking out the opposition ahead of Paralympic in Italy in March next year. Both the teams in this final, Norway and US, both of them qualified for Paralympic. And that will be a big confidence boost. Whoever triumphs in this game, they will be taking big confidence from that. But both these teams should be taking good confidence from this whole weekend. US unbeaten so far, 5 out of 5 wins for them. And hot on their heels, Norway, 4 out of 5 wins. So I think both teams will be fairly pleased with their performance. We really take over the town this weekend here in Vetsicon. The hotel full of players, all the pizza places full of players, full of teams. And even bigger than usual, 20 teams this year. And a big thank you to all of our teams, many of whom travel a long way to be here. And several of them coming year on year. We had our friends Team Wagami, who are from the US, not from Japan. They're a competitive social team, I would say. They've been to several competitions all over the world and coming back to support this competition again. And after A little pause for technical work. We are ready to start the second half of the final. And off we go. It was the US with an important and well-worked score of 2 in that fourth end. They will lead us off in the fifth. Objectives still fairly similar. Ooh, that stone just sneaked into play. All of the stone must be over all of that line. The volunteer has gone to check, and yes, it is. Yeah, the ice just sitting while they were repairing that little drip there, so the rest of the ice maybe just getting a little bit colder, and that meaning the ice a little bit slower and maybe needing a bit of an extra push from the players when they start off again. But objectives in this fifth end haven't changed much. Norway are +4. They're quite happy to just stay there. They don't need to take risks, even if Norway score 1 point. That's fine for them. They will maintain a nice cushion of points. What they don't want is to get into an end where there's loads of stones and the US can hide behind guards, the US can get stones into play. That's another superb shot from the Norwegian lead. I wouldn't say she's winning these games all by herself, but she really is setting up the Norwegian team absolutely beautifully. Important in this fifth end is for the US to make good use of free guard zone. So they have that one guard that just sneaked over the hog line. And the second guard is fine, or looks like that is just going to slip into the house, but it's mostly behind that guard, and that's a lovely throw from the American lead. Free guard zone is still active. This is only the fourth stone coming. That means that that little guard from the US not allowed to go out of play. And another just peachy stone from the Norwegian lead. That's a nice stars and stripes delivery stick for the American second thrower. If you want to try curling, if you're a wheelchair user or you have a friend or a colleague who wants to try, you don't need your own delivery stick. The club has plenty of delivery sticks. You can use those, and the club of course has curling brushes as well. If you're skipping, you can use those. You don't need any adjustment to your regular day-to-day chair. Curling really particularly accessible. You don't even need a specific wheelchair club. One of our friends from Team Mogami in US, he is the only person in his regular curling club that is wheelchair user, and it's really not a problem. At club level, at social curling, everyone can really play together. So wheelchair, foot players, men and women all play together. It's not a problem. That's a nice throw from Norway again, just moving things off that centre line. You will see that all of the teams here all have men and women in the team, and that is a rule in wheelchair curling. You must have men and women in the team, at least one. So you don't have to have 2 men, 2 women, but you must have at least one. That's another way that wheelchair curling happens to be unusually inclusive. And again, at club level, at social curling, really everyone can play together. Wheelchair user, foot player, men, women. You often have, say, families that play together, parents playing with their children. It's highly inclusive, so if you do want to try, or you have a friend whose wheelchair user would like to try, they can easily get involved. The club has everything you need, including teammates. Norway, as we said, just trying to remove US stones. And they're doing that very nicely. And the US, they really have no choice. They have to keep playing aggressive. They need to have guards out front, keep stones in play. Guards to hide behind, stones in play to freeze against, just nudge up against. We won't see many hits from the US. They need to focus on keeping yellows in play. Ooh. That's Nicole in the background. Nicole from Ruby Photography, our official photographer. She's taken photos at this event for several years, and she really captures the energy and the atmosphere here. You'll see her photos on the event website, IWCT. Also on the event Instagram. If you search IWCT on Instagram, you will find the channel as well, and also on Nicole's business Instagram, Ruby Photography. She'll have a selection of photos there, and really worth having a look, capturing all the emotions, all the action shots. So we're very thankful to Nicole for supporting the competition again. There's a couple of young fans behind the glass. You can really get close to the teams here. 8 out of 10 Paralympic teams competing in this competition. And when you see them on TV in Italy next year, you can show off to your friends that you met them here at the club, where you saw them playing in this competition. Norway really building on their dream start to this game. And as we said, the US, important that they don't get frustrated. Norway really not making mistakes here. And it's a bit of a double whammy. Norway's objective is pretty easy. They just want to neutralise the US, remove US stones from play. And the US, they need to grab these points back, and just that harder degree of difficulty. So it's a bit of a double whammy. Your objective is harder and your degree of difficulty is a bit harder. That's why it's important to really concentrate, really focus stone by stone. Don't let it frustrate you that you're putting stones in play and Norway remove, and you put stones in play and Norway remove. You only need one mistake and that can open up a chance. And that stone is not quite going to find the curl, but it had the right kind of weight, so it is going to find a useful position for a plan B. This is an interesting choice from Norway. They could have continued just removing guards. As we said, guards really help the US because they're the ones who need to score points, and that is a mistake from Norway. They did not want to put another guard. They were trying to get to the centre, get to that important control zone before Norway. But that one, sorry, before the US, but that stone from Norway just coming up a little short. And they've been hitting very well, Norway. I think the better choice in that situation was to just keep hitting guards. You can't really go wrong just keeping removing stones from play. But Norway going for the more aggressive idea, trying to kind of call their bluff in a way and get to the centre first, but that has backfired. So you need to use this, US. And now you need to get to the centre first, behind all that lovely cover. His line looks lovely. He's all the way around that guard. Well, what did we say about high risk, high reward? Norway took the more aggressive approach, riskier approach, and that has backfired, and now the US has a lovely stone right next to the pin with a whole bunch of stones out front protecting it. And this is all the US can do. They just keep needing to give themselves a chance to pick up points. Keep working hard. And they should feel encouraged by their play in the fourth and in this fifth end. Norway have 2 stones to fix their mistake. Just trying the same again. He just wants to chase that US stone to the centre. He's certainly going to make contact. And who is going to lie? It will be the blue. Yellow on the right of the centre line in a very, very safe position. If the US can just do something about this blue, they will have given themselves a super chance to get an additional point and keep themselves in this game. So he needs to be around the guard. He needs to be around the guard. Oh no! And it's really been all or nothing with the US 8 stone here. He's played some absolute peachy ones, but that stone over curling, catching the guard. Handing the advantage back to Norway. Norway already lying 1 point then. They don't, as we said, they don't need to do anything fancy. If Norway score 2 here, that's a huge boost. They really don't need to worry about that yellow. They just want to put a second stone in to outcount it. And that stone's got a bit of the curl as well, though. That will be just 1. That's enough for Norway. They don't need to do anything special. They just need to keep playing steady stuff. Scoring 1 point with last stone that will see them over the finish line from here. So yeah, the US just focusing, concentrating again. But that was a score of 1 to Norway, and that means our overall score after 5 ends, it is Norway 8, USA 3. Norway's team talk in between ends will not have changed very much. It will be along the line of, just keep doing this, please. But to be fair, the US have really picked themselves up, really been working hard to try to put the pressure on Norway, and when Norway have needed to get themselves out of trouble, they have come up with good shots. We are in the 6th and often pivotal end in this 8-end game. If scores are tied after 8 ends, we will play an extra end. And I think at this point, if we can get to an extra end, the USA will be delighted. They just need to keep working hard. It's US who has last stone in the 6th end, and an early mistake from Norway. That's about the first mistake she's played, but an early mistake from Norway, leaving a guard out front rather than a stone in the house, and that's a guard that the US can use. Oh, not quite finding its way in behind, but a double guard is absolutely fine for the US.
14, Katie, good rock.
The tolerance for these shots definitely short before long. A stone too long for the US that maybe goes through the house. You can't do anything with that, but a stone out front there, that's a guard that the US can also use. This is a better throw from Norway though. Is it going to stop though? It's just going to hang on at the back. What Norway didn't want was another guard, so that was good adjustment. What the US does want is guards out front, and they have another chance to use them. We had the Zurich Caledonian Pipe Band here earlier, as we've had the previous several years, always very special. We start off outside in the sunshine. The pipe band play a couple of songs, and then there's a march led by the band with all the teams coming in behind them. And the teams are led into the ice hall by the Zurich Caledonian Pipe Band. It's always a very special event. Much appreciated, I think, by the teams and the supporters. And a big thank you to the Zurich Caledonian Pipe Band for, again, supporting this event. And this end setting up currently well for the US. Guards out front, all protected by free guard zone until now. That is 5 stones played. Free guard zone is over. We had a couple of loose shots from Norway. You don't want Norwegian stones out front. It is up to the US to really use those guards now.
13-8.
That stone
Great
also
line, Aina.
coming up a little bit short, but like we said,
Line was great.
those stones out front are good for US. No use through the back. The tolerance for these shots from the US, a little bit too short, is much more useful than a little bit too long. Guard zone is over, and again I really think Norway's best idea is to just keep hitting from here. It's just trying to get to the centre ahead of US. They know the US are going to try to come in behind guards. Yeah, they're just getting themselves in a mess, Norway. They're getting away with it because they're quite far ahead. But yeah, if I was Norway, I think I prefer just trying to keep things clear here.
You like the Bruno?
This yellow just going to punch that one in the middle forward. That is a lovely throw.
Thank you. 12.
Lovely throw there. A yellow right on the tee line behind a whole heap of cover. Great work from the US. Well, Norway, you have rather brought this situation on yourselves with a couple of loose throws and then not really tidying up. A bit too late now to start bailing out this weekend, to start bailing out this end. They're kind of committed to the aggressive one, and we often say the sixth end can really be a game changer, and I wonder if a couple of early mistakes from Norway and maybe not quite the right strategic decision, I wonder if this could be the opening that can jump the US right back into this game. US have a super chance to put big pressure now on Norway. They have all the guards they could possibly want. They have a lovely yellow stone right in the forefoot. And now looking for a second yellow in behind cover. Not quite finding the gap, but again, the tolerance for these shots for US, a little bit shorter, is much more helpful than a little bit longer. And now they have another yellow close to centre that maybe they could push forward with their next stones. Norway really adding to their own problems here. The angles, though, not quite favouring the US team. That yellow just off centre line there. You could push that through the gap, but it's not it's not straight back. It would be at an angle, and the US may be thinking, let's just leave that there. We quite like having that yellow right in the centre. It's dangerous for Norway as well. Instead, calling to take quite wide ice and go round the back of everything. Ooh. Oh, fantastic effort. As we've seen a few times though, when you go wider and wider with the brush, taking more and more ice, often the wider ice on the sheet doesn't have so many stones over. Typically the stones, as we can see, typically the most played area of the ice is between those two tram lines. And sometimes if you need a bit more ice, as the USA were going for, just sometimes that ice is a little bit fresher, hasn't had so many stones going over it, and that means you can need a little bit extra push with one of those stones. And the US ever so close to getting it though. That was always lined up actually. I had spotted that as a danger. Norway not quite connecting with enough gas in that stone and punching it forward but not into danger. That's how it lies. That yellow, it is getting a little bit lonely there surrounded by blues, but because of all the guards out front, very difficult to move that yellow from where it is. They were really close with their last attempt, the US. They will know which path to take. They will know what kind of speed this stone needs to be going. The American skip just asking that stone to put its brakes on a little bit. I think they may have overcorrected. Yeah, they have a little bit. Seeing that previous stone just stopping short and putting a little bit too much extra on it, that one. But still, it is USA who are lying. And they definitely will have another chance with their final stone. then, I think, just trying to block access to that path. Decent effort there. I do still think there is probably space for a similar attempt from the US. USA scoring 1 at least. And looking for a little adjustment to make it 2. And again, for the sake of good curling, let's wish this little stone a good journey. Certainly adjusted it well. Oh, that is heartbreaking. That's what, 10 centimetres too long only. That is a heartbreaker. Such a brave effort from the US there. They are awarded with a score of 1 point. So close on several occasions to getting 2. And just crossing hands together. It's all focus. But it is, yeah, Norway with more upbeat body language. They really could have got in trouble in that end, and they're playing with fire slightly with their strategy there, but it is Norway who still lead the US after 6 ends, 8 points to 4. Full house at the ice hall. We had 20 teams in the competition this year, the most ever. Wherever you go in Vetsikon town this weekend, the hotel, the restaurants, everywhere is just bursting with teams. And I think we shall have the mayor of Vetsikon coming to the prize ceremony after this game. After this round, rather, we shall have all the teams on the ice hall. And the big prize ceremony for all the teams who have supported the competition. It's the top 12 who are playing just now. And let's say a big thank you to the rest of the teams who have really given us a lot of entertainment, a lot of fun to watch this weekend. Finishing in 13th place is the team from Poland, who are really making good strides in the game. I think that's the 3rd year they've supported this competition, so thank you to Team Poland. Next is the Swiss team from Curling Club St. Gallen. Next are our friends from Team Wagami in the US, visiting the competition for the 2nd year in a row. Next is the host team from the club here, Curling Club Vetsikon. Next is the All-Star team, led by local player Bernie Locher, and the All-Star team made up of different nationalities. Next is the team from Czech Republic. We saw them earlier on, and they had a good game. As I've been saying all weekend, none of these teams are bad teams. It's just really tough out there. Games are won by millimetres here and there. But thanks to the Czech Republic for travelling. Next is Team Switzerland 2nd team. And finally, a big thank you to Team Spain. First time in this competition, and we had a chance to watch them a couple of days ago, I think on Friday. And congratulations to them, first time in this competition. Played an awful lot of good stuff, so I hope they take good confidence from playing really in one of the highest quality competitions, if not the highest quality outside of World or Paralympic. And congratulations to those 8 teams for giving us a lot of entertainment at the competition this weekend. On ice are the top 12 teams from the competition. It looks like everyone is on their 7th end, so let's take a look around on sheet 1. It is still Sweden who are in control against our previous champions, Slovakia first team. They are 7-5 ahead. Both of them will be at Paralympics, so they will be, again, very interested in just checking each other's form. On sheet 2, it is the all-Italian game. It is the team from Albatross Trento Club. They are leading 7-2 over Team Italy. On sheet 4, next door to us, really good battle over there. It is Great Britain first team, who were also on 4 wins out of 5. It was Norway, though, who had a superior cumulative draw shot challenge. But Great Britain also won 4 out of 5 of their round robin games, and they are 7-4 ahead of Slovakia second team. On sheet 5, it is Switzerland first team. They are 5-4 ahead over Canada. Real tight one over there. Canada, the bronze medalist from Paralympic last time, and they will also be at Paralympic in Italy in March. And finally on sheet 6, it is Korea, who will also be in Italy. They are leading Great Britain second team 6 points to 3. The 2 games on the middle ice here, so on sheet 3 our featured game, and next door on sheet 4 we are watching teams 1 and 2 in the table, and next door, as we said, Slovakia second team and Great Britain, they finished 3rd and 4th in the table. Those are closed games. That means whoever wins will be first, and on sheet 4 whoever wins, they will claim 3rd place. Those 2 are closed games. For the other 4 games, the result will be added to the overall ranking. So closed games for 1st to 4th position, and the other games, they will go into the overall ranking. We do have our first result on sheet 1. It is a victory for Sweden, finishing nice and strong. They have defeated Slovakia first team 8 points to 5. I guess Slovakia just feeling like it wasn't quite their game today. 8-5, not an insurmountable score, but yeah, maybe Slovakia feeling like not quite their day. They have shaken hands, and it is Sweden who will finish with a win. That moves them to 3 wins, and they'll be delighted to finish with the win there. Both of those teams we will see at Paralympic in Italy in March, and maybe it will be Sweden who will just take a bit of extra confidence from that performance there. The battling Team USA throwing yellow in our featured game. They do have a couple of counters in play. Just wanting to throw a guard in front of that one at the centre, and they've done that beautifully. We saw Norway really playing with fire a little bit in the 6th end, and yeah, this is more sensible. They do not want guards and stones out front. This is a better idea. Let's just try to remove them. first things first for Norway, they have removed that dangerous guard out front. But still, a couple of little US counters. Here's the before situation. And Norwegians making sure he gets out of the way. And nicely removing that centre guard. Again, the US, they just need to focus, hold their nerve, keep replacing that guard. That one slipping on a little bit further than his first throw, but still finding a nice place out front. Norway all but guaranteed to try to remove that stone no matter where it was going to end up. Coming in at pace. This Norwegian throw. Definitely wants to make sure he gets one, and it is just one though. US know then what they need to do. It's that tricky same again please shot. They know this path. They've played it several times already. Doing everything they can, the US, to give themselves a chance to put some more points on the board, stay in touch with this game. And similar result, that stone just slipping into the rings. But as we said, Norway all but guaranteed to hit it no matter where it ended up. The only risk is that there is now potentially a double takeout possible. Full beans again for Norway. Will they get the pair of them this time? No. And yeah, that yellow's still in a dangerous place. You just need to hold your nerve once more, US. One more good throw here. Here comes the Norwegian stone. Coming at a slightly different angle that time. Not quite getting the pair of them, and that little yellow just spinning itself back towards the centre. All the US can do is try to set themselves up with a chance. They need a mistake from Norway to get any points without last stone. Just needs that to put its brakes on a bit. Player Cam really capturing the emotions out there. And that stone sliding on a little bit too far. And now all they can do is say a little prayer, the US. Big chance now though for Norway to surely get 1 foot over the finish line from here. Ooh, that didn't curl as much as they thought though. Oh wow, what a turnaround. Look at this, gang. That blue not curling the way they wanted it to. And rather unexpectedly, that is a steal of 2 for the US. Whatever little prayer they said together. Yeah, I think that surprised everyone. But still hanging on to this game, the US. That was a huge steal of 2 in the 7th end, and going into the 8th, will it be the final end? It is Norway 8, USA 6. Well, Norway really need to put that one out of their heads. Again, I can only apologise if it was me who gave them a commentator's curse there, saying that they had a shot to really put themselves towards the finish line there. But unexpected. Half shot from Norway, hit and roll out instead of hit and stick. And US battling away. Can they fashion somehow 2 points from this 8th end?
You got lots of time. You're good.
We have another couple of final results on sheet 2. It was the all-Italian game, and it was Team Albatross Trento. They triumphed over Team Italy 8 points to 2 in 7 ends. On sheet 6, lovely, steady, strong performance from Korea. They finished their competition on a win. They defeat Great Britain's second team 8 points to 3. And that should bump them quite nicely up the table, Korea. They've been pretty strong all weekend, but just on the end of a couple of losses. The last ranking game is Canada against Switzerland first team, and it is Canada who are 6-5 ahead after 7 ends, but Switzerland with last stone in their 8th end. It's always an intriguing situation. And in the 3rd, 4th game, it is Great Britain first team. They are 7-4 ahead of Slovakia second team. You can just see that game off to the right of our screen there. That is 2 good throws from Norway and from US lead. Critical that the US make good use of the free guard zone here in this 8th end if they are going to find a way to snatch 2 points and take us to an extra end. That's going to be the most effective way of doing that, is to have guards out front.
That'll work. Looks pretty good, Katie.
Make use of free guard zone. That means Norway can't remove them.
Bird.
And she's done that beautifully.
Really nice.
Those are 2 American guards. They cannot be removed from play until we've played 5 stones. Norway would love to remove those guards, but they can't yet. And actually, Norway learning from the 6th end. This isn't a mistake.
Top 4.
This was exactly what Norway asked for. They learning from the 6th end that when they tried to call the US bluff or tried to get to centre first, that sort of thing, it really didn't work for them. And Norway then just calling what we would say, we just throw that stone away. We know that stone's not going to end up in play, and that's what we want, because stones in play really only help US. So they put 1 stone in the house as kind of an insurance shot. That's the blue on the left of our screen there.
2-5.
The US could not really be setting themselves up much better here. 1 guard, 2 guard, round onto the 4-foot. The US front end can do not much more to try to help their team grab 2 points for an extra end. Now, important for Norway is that they keep everything clear here. I'm not sure that's connecting with the guard. Is it going to wrap round and get the shot instead? I think it is. That's not quite what they wanted, but that's a good plan B.
Let's freeze 2-0. Same weight. Next double shot up.
So just sliding around the outside of the guard, but connecting with the shot that was in the 4-foot. And to a large extent, the US still really need to just ignore that blue. What they really want is a stone in behind those guards. Norway are not ever going to guard that blue. Important is to use your guards that you've put out front.
Well, 9.
Yeah, you can also use the blue, try to get a little angle. That's pretty good. That's maybe a little bit of protection for that yellow there with a blue just behind it at an angle. Same drill for Norway. Let's remove stones, please. Oh, has she done it again? She's maybe got the middle guard this time. That's fine. The Norwegian front end, they have done all they can to help their team. Or have they? Will we have an extra end in the final here? Similar to what we saw then in the 7th end. The US have a stone close to centre and just wanting to protect that, just put a guard in front. Oh, I think he's done this beautifully. Lovely stuff, very nice. Well, the US does need 2 points, but the more likely way to get a mistake from Norway is to keep another few stones playing that guard. At some point, the US do have to put a second yellow into the mix, but not yet. Has that done enough? It does move the guard, but doesn't remove it completely. And I wonder if that could be important later on. Same idea for the US. Just wants it to keep curling, keep curling, keep curling, and land up in front. That's a great throw. Really nice stuff. Now, at some point, Norway may say to themselves, one yellow is actually okay. One yellow doesn't matter. That would make the overall score 8-7, and that would still be enough for Norway to claim victory. But again, not yet. It's still a little bit dangerous to decide to just close the door and try to force one yellow. And that's why we see them. Ooh. Oh my life. That is completely the reverse of what they wanted. That is not what we thought was going to happen. This blue just going back and back, not curling at all. And I thought we might see this, yeah, that mistake from Norway sets the US up in a fantastic position and sensibly saying, okay, what do we do with this slightly unexpected position? What's our best way of getting a second point in there? That's the situation. That one yellow, nice and close to centre. There are really being guarded on both sides. What's the next shot? Should it be another guard and then with final shot put a second yellow in, or should we put a second yellow in now? See what Norway do about it and potentially guard with our last throw. The coach is on their way down. They do have travel time, the coach, because they're all sitting up here where it's nice and warm. Big thanks again to Media Rent. That's our live stream partner. And they're showing the event sponsors who make this a really special event. We have the same teams coming year on year. Now it looks like, in fact, the US don't have their coach with them. It is a long way for them to travel, but that doesn't mean they don't get to use that time. They can also, it's a timeout, a coach interaction, they are also entitled to stop the game clock and say, yeah, let's just have a tactical discussion here. And that's what they've done. So no coach from the US, but they do have a tactical timeout. And ooh, exciting news. We just caught a glimpse of the Canadian team. They are over on sheet 5 playing Switzerland first team. That has gone to an extra end. That is a score of 6 each after 8 ends, and it will be Canada who have last stone in that extra end. We'll keep an eye on that. So the decision's been made. The US just taking a timeout, getting the whole team together, discussing the options. I think I like this call. I favour another guard. See what Norway does with that, and then, yeah, with your last stone, put a second one behind whatever guards are left. I think that is your best chance to score 2.
Very possible.
On sheet 4, the third, fourth playoff. They are also in their 8th end. It is surely Great Britain first team in pole position. They are 7-5 ahead, and they have last stone in this 8th end. And things looking fairly nice and open, which is what they will want. Norway then with a big mistake in their previous throw. That was not the tolerance for that shot. They would rather have removed a guard, and now forced to maybe be a little bit more aggressive. As we said, 1 yellow's okay actually. 1 yellow still means Norway would win. And just really cutting down that scoring area for the US to get a second yellow into play. But they do have a chance. That blue just slipping in beyond T-line. That means there is space for the US. And wouldn't that be a big result if this game goes to an extra end? Situation is USA line 1. 2 stones to come. It is Norway who have last throw. The US must be lying 2 yellow at the conclusion of this throw. It's on its way. Will this be the last throw of the game for the US? Oh, it's really caught the curl now. Oh. What a brave comeback from Team USA. But I think probably good for the win, Norway. I think they were probably a little bit more consistent. But what a fight back from the US. Super final. Big thanks to both teams, to Norway and USA, for a very intriguing final game for us to enjoy. Smiles all round, that's good to see. But congratulations, we have new champions at the 17th International Wheelchair Curling Tournament in Curling Club Edzikon. Your new champions are Team Norway. Big congratulations to them. They've played real steady stuff all weekend. They will be delighted with that. That will give them heaps of confidence in this Paralympic season. There's confirmation of the score, 1 yellow. Norway hang on for victory after a spirited comeback from the runners-up, Team USA, but they are your champions in front of you. Big smiles all round. Victory photos. We will be having prize giving with all the teams here on the ice. All 20 teams will be invited back into the ice hall once the games are concluded. And our champions will accept the trophy. But we have a couple games still out there while Norway can celebrate victory here at the international tournament. It is Great Britain first team leading 7-5 over Slovakia second team in the 3rd-4th playoff, but Slovakia have a few counters in play in the 8th end. And actually, last stone coming, so we'll just hang on for that. And on sheet 5, they are already in an extra end. It is Canada and Switzerland first team. 6 each after 8 end. They are in an extra end shootout. Norway delighted, their coach coming to congratulate them all. Very steady throws, very steady play all weekend. And the US, a worthy final. I think those were the two strongest teams in the competition doing battle this afternoon. And 1 stone to come for Great Britain first team, this for 3rd place. You can just see them on this overhead view, or the view from the club room. You can see them on sheet 4. This is the last stone of that game. Here it comes. He needs to hit and stick, otherwise could be Slovakia stealing a win here. Oh, pressure shot on Great Britain, makes no mistake, and it will be Great Britain first team who finished 3rd. So that is your podium. It is Norway who are champions at the 17th International Wheelchair Curling Tournament. Runner-up is Team USA. And 3rd place on the podium, it is Great Britain first team. We will leave the extra end running with Canada and Switzerland first team. Still about half an end to go over there. But that's the view from upstairs. We will be joining the players downstairs. I think we might be behind the glass just to keep the ice nice and clean, but all the players will be down on the ice for the prize giving. You see Slovakia and Great Britain shaking hands there. The British team will also be real happy with their performance, I think. Both their teams making the ranking round this afternoon. So a big thank you to all 20 teams who have really given us a super competition again this year. Big thank you to all our sponsors, to the clubhouse for keeping us all fed and watered, and a big thank you to you viewers for tuning in. We always have a really fun time at this competition, so join us again next year. Keep an eye on the website IWCT.ch. That will have all the dates and the details as soon as we know, and come back and join us again next year. Thanks for your company. Bye for now.